Right now, you are sitting in a comfortable office, managing a team of 10, 20, or perhaps 50 people. You have tracked their key performance indicators, you approve their paid time off, and you mediate their interpersonal conflict. You believe this makes you a leader. You believe your management experience is an appreciating asset that guarantees your future in a corporate hierarchy. You're operating under a catastrophic terminal illusion. The era of managing people is over. If you aren't orchestrating intelligent system by the end of 2026, your management experience is a legacy liability. I'm going to show you the exact mathematical roadmap to pivot out of your dying role and into the most lucrative position of our next decade. An AI transformation consultant, we are going to completely dismantle your old workflows and rebuild them around autonomous agentic frameworks today. Stop settling for a mid-level management salaries when you could be a high-value architect of automated efficiency for global firms. You already possesses the operational experience. Now you simply need the custom large language model, the LLM stack, to deploy it. This is exactly how you audit corporate friction and position yourself as an indispensable AI consultant. Before I completely deconstruct the death of a biological manager, expose the exact mechanics of an agentic framework, and give you the precise 90-day architectural blueprint to turn your operational friction into high-margin consulting offers, hit the subscribe button and press the notification bell. I post daily videos showing you exactly how to navigate the global labor and capital market using cold, hard engineering logic. You do not want to miss these execution protocols. We are moving far beyond simple automation into the world of autonomous agent, and the gap between the legacy management and the AI transformation is closely, violently fast. I am breaking down how to bridge that divide, learn to build an intelligent system that replaces traditional hierarchies. Grab a notebook, it is time to stop managing people and start orchestrating the machine. Welcome back, I'm Dr. HR. To understand why my approach to the career architecture and the artificial intelligence is aggressively different from the soft theoretical advice peddled by legacy business schools, you must understand my underlying structural logic. I hold a PhD in Human Resources, a Master's from prestigious Tata Institute of Social Sciences TISS in Mumbai, and a Bachelor's in Computer Engineering. I do not look at an organization chart as a family tree. I look at it as a computational matrix of efficiency and latency. Operating on the ground here in Dubai since 2010, consulting for Tier 1 corporate entities, sovereign wealth funds, and apex founders, I have monitored exactly how global capital is shifting. The market is aggressively defunding middle management and pouring trillions of dollars into AI infrastructure. Let us systematically deconstruct this lucrative career pivot through 5 distinct phases: the management liability, the operational arbitrage, architecting the agentic framework, the 90-day execution protocol, and the sovereign consultant. Phase 1, the management liability, the fear of obsolescence. We must first diagnose the exact debilitating vulnerability of a traditional corporate manager. For the last century, the primary bottlenecks to the corporate growth was a biological execution. If a company wanted to scale its revenue, it had to scale its human headcount. Because human beings are inherently chaotic. They get tired, they get emotional, they require motivation, and they make errors. Corporations created a massive, highly paid layer of middle management to ensure the workers actually did the work. In the 2026 economy, this entire structural paradigm has collapsed. We are witnessing the absolute decoupling of operational output from biological headcount. Advanced generative AI and autonomous agent network do not require motivation. They do not request a 401k match. They do not suffer from burnout, and they do not require a manager to track their paid time off. They execute the flawless, high-velocity logic at the speed of light. If your primary professional value is summarizing the work of others, routing emails between departments, sitting in status meetings, and managing human emotions, your career is a depreciating asset. You are managing a workforce that is actively being deleted. When a CEO looks at their balance sheet today, they see middle management as a massive, unjustifiable capital drain. Why pay a director of operations 60,000 a month to oversee a team of 20 analysts when an AI transformation consultant can deploy a custom agentic framework that replaces all 20 analysts and director for a fraction of cost? The gap between legacy management and AI transformation is closing fast. If you are not actively transitioning from a manager of humans to an orchestrator of systems, you are participating in your own professional obsolescence. Phase 2, the operational arbitrage, high-value opportunity. The amateur managers hears this warning and panics. They assume they need to quit their job, go back to the university, spend 4 years learning complex theoretical computer science and neural network physics to survive. That is a catastrophic strategic error. You do not need to become a Silicon Valley software engineer to capture the wealth of an AI era. In fact, your legacy management experience gives you an extreme, unfair advantage over the engineer. You must execute the operational arbitrage. The brilliant software engineers at OpenAI or Anthropic know how to build a massive, multi-billion parameter brain, but they are completely blind to the messy, unglamorous, highly lucrative reality of a physical economy. An AI researcher in California has absolutely no idea how a logistic firm in Dubai routes its truck. They do not understand the agonizing latency of a corporate HR onboarding pipeline. They do not know how a Tier 1 bank navigates the friction of compliance auditing. But you do. As a former manager, you know exactly where the bodies are buried. You understand the corporate bleeding wound. You know the exact choke point where the data get lost, where the human error destroys margins, and where cross-departmental communication fails. This is your timeline. This is your ultimate arbitrage. You take your deep, visceral understanding of operational friction and you synthesize it with the new technology. If you are an HR director who spent the last 5 years executing the Lean Six Sigma methodologies to optimize a sluggish Oracle HCM deployment, you do not throw that knowledge away. You weaponize it. You already know the exact value stream map of a company. You know every single approval gate and compliance check. Your value as an AI transformation consultant is not writing the core code. It is identifying the exact operational target and mapping the intelligence directly into the revenue stream. You bridge the massive, highly profitable gap between the raw computational power of a digital god and the actual daily workflow of a legacy corporation. You stop settling for a mid-level management salary and you start charging a premium as an architect of automated efficiency. Phase 3, architecting the agentic framework, the new reality. To make this transition, you must completely upgrade your technological vocabulary. You must move past the amateur era of a simple automation and embrace the new reality technical style. Most legacy managers think AI means typing a question into the ChatGPT and copy-pasting the answers into an email. That is the equivalent of using a supercomputer as a digital typewriter. The 2026 enterprise does not pay for a single run turn prompt. They pay for an agentic framework. An agentic framework is a complex autonomous network where multiple specialized AI models communicate, collaborate, and execute multi-step workflow without human intervention. Let us architect a real-world example. You are consulting for a massive real estate brokerage in UAE. Their current processes for drafting international commercial lease agreements require 5 different human touchpoints. A sales agent, a compliance officer, a legal reviewer, an accountant, and a senior manager. It takes 12 days to execute a single contract. As an AI transformation consultant, you do not give them a ChatGPT subscription. You architect a custom LLM stack. Node 1, the ingestion agent. You deploy an AI agent that automatically monitors the incoming email server. It extracts the raw client data and requested square footage and the pricing term. Node 2, the compliance agent. The first agent passes the structured data to a secondary agent connected via a retrieval augmented system, the RAG pipeline, to a vector database containing the entirety of RERA, the Real Estate Regulatory Agency laws. This agent instantly audits the term for the legal compliance. Node 3, the drafting agent. Once compliance is verified, a third agent drafts the customized contract using the firm's specific legal template. Note 4. The communication agent. Finally, an agent formats the contract and emails it directly to the client for a signature via DocuSign API. You took a 12-day, 5-person, high-friction workflow and compressed it into 14 seconds of flawless autonomous execution. You built an intelligent system that completely replaces the traditional hierarchy. You did not have to code the core AI model, you simply used the low-code, no-code platform and the API integration to wire the specialized agents together based on your operational logic. This is a technical bridge. You turn operational friction into high-margin consulting offers by architecting the nervous system that controls the raw intelligence. Phase 4, the 90-day execution roadmap. We have diagnosed the death of a manager. We have identified your operational arbitrage. We have defined the agentic framework. Now you must execute the transition. You must follow the precise 90-day execution roadmap. Sprint 1, day 1 to 30, the sovereign rebrand and tech stack audit. You cannot sell yourself as an AI consultant if your LinkedIn profile says Senior HR Manager or Director of Operations. You must execute a violent linguistic overhaul. You rewrite your entire professional narrative. You are no longer managing people, you are optimizing human AI workflows. You highlight your expertise in process latency reduction, agentic systems integrations, and data architecture. Simultaneously, you spend your nights and weekends mastering the integration stack. You need not to learn Python from scratch, but you must master integration platforms like Zapier Central, Make.com, LangChain, and Flowvoice. You must understand how to connect an LLM to a vector database using an API. You build your technical arsenal. Sprint 2, day 31 to 60, the frictional audit and the micropilot. You do not quit your job yet. You use your current employer as your laboratory. You deploy a friction audit on your own department, identify the most tedious, repetitive, data-heavy tasks that consume your team's bandwidth without asking for a massive budget or corporate permission. You build a micro-agent to solve it. If your team spends 40 hours a week manually extracting data from PDF invoices and entering it into an Excel spreadsheet, you build a targeted AI pipeline that does it autonomously. You deploy the pilot, you track the exact mathematical return on investment, the ROI, you prove that your system saved the company AED 10,000 in labor costs in a single week. Sprint 3, day 61 to 90, the proof of work extraction. You have built the system, you have the data. Now, you abstract the victory into the proof of work artifact. You sanitize the company's data, protect the intellectual property, and construct a highly detailed professional case study. You do not write a boring PDF. You execute like a sovereign media entity. You set up your Cineline gear, your Sony FX series camera, and you record a high-fidelity video essay. You color grade it in flawlessly in DaVinci Resolve 20. You look directly into the lens and deconstruct exactly how you engineered an agentic framework to eradicate corporate legacy. You broadcast this undeniable proof of competence to the global market on LinkedIn, Twitter, and your personal domain. You have successfully transitioned from an invisible middle manager to a highly visible apex transformation architect. Phase 5, the sovereign architecture, closing the deal. The final phase of the roadmap is a financial extraction. You do not actually sell this capability to global firms and secure your high-value opportunity. You must adopt the sovereign architecture in your negotiation. When global recruiters or desperate CEOs sees your high-fidelity proof of work, they will reach out. They will try to hire you as a W-2 employee. They will offer you a Director of AI implementation title and a standard salary. You must reject the employee mindset. An employee trades time for money. An architect trades structural leverage for equity and massive margins. When you sit at the boardroom table, you execute the reef. I appreciate the offer for the director role, however, I do not operate as an employee. An employee manages the status quo. I am an external transformation consultant. I come in, diagnose your operational bleeding, architect the autonomous systems to eradicate the latency, and then I exit. If I accept a salary, my incentive is to drag the implementation out for years. If I operate as a consultant, my incentive is to deploy the agentic framework in 90 days. You do not ask for a baseline salary. You price your services based on exact financial friction you are eliminating. If you identify that a company's outdated customer support pipeline is costing $82 million a year in lost revenue and bloated headcount, you do not charge an hourly rate. You charge a flat consulting fee of AED $400,000 to architect the agentic framework that replaces the legacy pipeline. You capture the 20% of the value you created and you deliver the solution in 3 months. You have completely inverted the laws of corporate gravity. You are no longer begging for a 4% annual raise from an HR department. You're negotiating a 6-figure contract directly with the CEO based on undeniable mathematical execution. Look closely at your current management position. Are you managing biological headcount in an era defined by algorithmic efficiency? Are you slowly accumulating career depth while the technology accelerates past you? Stop settling for an illusion of safety. The era of the traditional manager is dead. The era of the AI transformation consultant is the most lucrative window of the 21st century. Execute the 90-day roadmap. Synthesize your operational experience with the new LLM stack. Build the agentic framework. Document your proof of work and transition from an obsolete manager to an indispensable architect. Process the data, execute the strategy, and I'll see you at the top.